Hi everybody, Brandon Jones here, Kyle Bossman here. Welcome to the final episode of Brandon Plays Pokemon. For now, we'll probably name it something else. Like if we do a Sun and Moon thing, it probably won't be called Brandon Plays Pokemon.
Because I'll be playing too.
Brandon Plays Pokemon is a bad title.
Yes.
We stated that before on the show.
This is the end of it.
It was a very simplistic thing because this show is supposed to be a very simplistic thing. And then we realized later that it was something that everybody was eagerly looking forward to, or a lot of people were rather in our community. So apologies for the mediocre name, but here we are, episode 10, part 10 of Brandon Plays Pokemon. I have beaten Pokémon Red, my first Pokemon game I've ever played, the classic black and white, the game that you can get right now if you have a 3DS. You can download it and jump into the adventure. I'm currently 58 hours in after running around the world a little bit, trying out some stuff, figuring out what questions I wanted to ask before we wrap up this initial education of Brandon Jones in the world of Pokemon. And I want to stress something that is going to change after this episode. Because it seems like last episode, you know, like we're going to battle, but like, am I really going to be emotionally, you know, different? Am I going to be mature in the world of Pokemon? No, this is going to be kind of a little fun battle you and I are going to do. I'm saying that in case I lose, so I'm just like, it wasn't that big of a deal.
I think you've matured.
But I think something also very significant is going to happen after we are done recording this episode, in which I'm going to now dive into the Pokemon Wiki. I am now going to look up TMs and come up with my own understanding of what I think good TMs are.
I love doing that.
I might just go read some random game fact walkthrough of Pokemon Red and just see what weird little names pop up. And I totally missed that.
Yeah.
I'm basically going to stop using you, Kyle Bossman, as my sole Pokemon reference for the purposes of this show.
Yeah.
I'm going to tear back the curtain and I'm going to become an official Pokemon player. Thanks to you and thanks to our audience.
Yeah.
And we are going to battle in just a few minutes. But I wanted to, well, first of all,
A little pop up in the bottom.
First of all,
the battle is coming.
Yeah, a little countdown for the battle. No, that's not happening. But we got to talk about presents.
Sure.
We received tonight. I mean, the crocheted Pokeballs are really, really special. And apologies because we did credit the husband who sent us the Pokeballs, but not his wife that actually created the Pokeballs.
Yes.
So again, an additional thank you to her on social media. But this evening, we received from Mr. Miguel Rivas.
Yes. Shadow Marba.
Yeah. All of the Pokemon cards from Generation 1?
From the base set.
From the base set of Pokemon. Including, I have this like super gorgeous shiny Charizard.
Yes.
And you have a Japanese version
of my favorite Pokemon.
of your favorite Pokemon.
Farfetch'd.
Who I treated despicably when I first mentioned him.
Would you say Charizard's your favorite?
Probably still.
Yeah.
Charizard's really great.
I think that's why you got that card. I think we got our favorites.
I think Charizard and Machamp I think are my two favorite Pokemon coming out of this.
So
because they're just so direct. There's not a lot of mystery to them. They just step up and they're like, I'm gonna bring everything to this, and if I lose, I lose. Whereas your psychics and your ghosts and your
don't start making assumptions about
they're a little
me.
shifty.
So just when the intent was this would be the prize for the victor.
Tonight,
one of them
is gonna
comes
take this home
in the binder, and then the other one is a shoebox full of this exact same cards.
Full of these.
2 full base sets.
And the one in the shoebox is full of these in these gorgeous plastic containers. I'm like, I literally feel like someone is handing me their newborn child. Like this is so intense that this was gifted to us. Kyle, do you feel responsible enough to receive this gift?
No.
Should you whoop me
I feel
in
unworthy.
our battle?
I want to show you some of my favorites right here. This is one of my favorites, the Gyarados.
Okay. Just the art specifically?
One of the arts, just the best base set. I really love that art. Imposter Professor Oak. Look at this guy.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't trust him.
Jones, this is a card, this is a character, Imposter Professor Oak. Never appears in the video game. Never appears in the anime, never appears in the manga. Exists only in the TCG, but appears later on in years to come.
In the
Imposter
TCG?
Professor Oak, yeah. So strange.
Does Oak pop up in later Pokemon games?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And that's a great lead into random questions. That again, there's a lot of things that I will still explore in Pokemon. There's a lot of research I got to do going into Pokemon Sun. But there's still just a couple things that I think came up in, what, did I say
It's already been decided Jones gets Sun, I get Moon. We never told everybody that.
We did.
Oh, okay.
Because I said I want to play Sun and you said Moon, and I felt bad. I was like, I don't want to force you into whatever game.
I don't feel bad for you.
You were like, no, we got to, that way we can catch them all.
Yep.
But running through the world of Pokemon, training and learning this week, preparing for this battle, a couple questions did pop up.
Okay.
And I would like to throw it to you in case there's anything you feel that I have missed.
Oh, I do want to talk to you. Yeah. I want to go macro on this, Jones.
Why do I fly when I dig?
What do you mean?
When I dig, I go flying into the air.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
It's the same animation as
You
escape
go,
rope.
Woohoo! And you go like flying up into the air. You actually turn into what looks like, and keep in mind this is not just in general in Pokemon, specifically Pokemon Red, the original black and white Pokemon game. It looks like A, B, C, D in reverse. It looks like A, B, C, D. It looks like 3 letters of the English alphabet backwards. That like you're not you when you fly up. You turn into some weird thing, and I kept like staring at it every time I would do it because I dug out of dungeons a lot in the last week. And it's just a weird glitch where you're like letters or something, and you go flying up in the air even though you're digging.
Jones, you're going to have to look at the wiki for this one.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I'm just curious if anybody, if that was like, oh yeah, it's a classic glitch just in the first game or something.
You turn into backwards English letters is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's clearly not your character sprite. It's like I don't know, just a couple weird lines.
Okay.
It might be alien writing or something.
Sure.
Who knows? Okay, no context there.
No, I'm sorry, I can't answer that one.
You want to bring up something, so I'll say that you mentioned it before we started shooting, that you have a question for me, or you want to make sure that I clarify something, so I will let you ask that.
What is it? What?
How do you evolve Eevee?
Oh, sure. No, that was not from me. That's from fans.
Okay.
Fans want to make sure that you know how to evolve Eevee.
I know how to evolve Eevee in Pokemon Go, which of course is not.
How do you do it?
Candy.
Sure.
But I'm actually curious because I've evolved Eevee in Pokemon Go twice, and the first time I don't know what it was called. The second time was Vaporeon, which is the ice or water type. And the first time was an electric type.
Yeah.
Assuming
Jolteon.
I'm assuming fire type. Flareon.
Flareon. Yeah.
Okay. I might have seen Flareon in a gym. But the first time I evolved Eevee in Pokemon Go, I got Jolteon. The second time I got Vaporeon. I'm like, I guess the third time I get Flareon? Like they just they do it in that order, or I don't know. Or if like I just got lucky and got a different one, or if every time you evolve Eevee, it's kind of roll the dice. But in Red, no idea how that happens.
So Jones, pretty early in Red, earlier than I expected, you evolved your Pikachu into Raichu using a stone. And then you were also excited to use a Moonstone to, I think, evolve your Clefairy into a Clefable. Then you kind of gave up on stones.
This is true.
You totally gave up on them. So Eevee evolves with stones.
Okay.
If you give it a Firestone, I'm not sure it's called that, it'll evolve into Flareon.
Ah, okay.
Thunderstone, it'll evolve into Jolteon, and Waterstone, it'll evolve into Vaporeon.
Does Eevee, outside of that fun mechanic, does Eevee have any other skills with those particular elements that would be better than having a Gyarados, a Charizard, or a Raichu?
Yeah, good question. I don't know if somebody's crazy about Tail Whip or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know where it really comes down into the meta. I think people just think it's cute, that Eevee's cute, and then they like to pick a favorite evolution that's also cute to them. And that's why people are so attached to Eevee. Eevee is pretty unusual in that sense, that it has so many branching Pokemon off of it.
Were you afraid, because you didn't tell me until later on, maybe you just kind of slipped your mind, that there were Pokemon in blue and in yellow that like there's no way you're going to collect them all. It's not like they're easier to get in blue. You would have to play blue now for another 50 hours to collect all of those Pokemon.
Yeah.
Or trade with somebody that was playing blue. Were you possibly concerned that would like diminish my excitement of playing the game?
No.
Were you maybe trying to like string me along and I'd be like, I'm going to get them all. And you're like, well, it's technically impossible, but thanks for your enthusiasm, Jones.
Yeah, I guess I should have said it earlier. Yeah, I should have made that clear for sure, because that is the sell. That's like, hey, Red has this and Blue has these Pokemon if you want them all.
And that's why we want to play 2 different versions for Sun and Moon when those come out. Kind of pick which one we want to do.
Absolutely, and they sort of branch more in the future. One thing though, Jones, one reason why it's impossible to get 150 with just the 2 of us is Eevee. There's only one Eevee in each game. Eevee has 3 evolutions.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you just get it off of the table, which is why I named it Mesa.
Yeah, so we would need a third friend to be hanging out with us who is willing to trade around, and you would trade back. I want my.
So you wouldn't have a
back.
living Pokedex, but your Pokedex would be complete.
To have a living Pokedex, Jones. Yeah, think about how difficult it would be to have 3 Eevees evolutions and an extra Eevee on top of that.
You'd have to play all 3 versions.
Yes.
Yeah, yourself, like a crazy person.
In the future, Jones, that becomes much simpler.
Okay.
Do you want to know about
that?
Yeah,
let's get it. This is it. This is the final episode, baby.
Sure. Breeding.
Whoa.
In the future, you can
we got eggs
Pokemon.
in Pokemon Go, which we don't have. We got fossils in this game we don't really get into.
Yep.
into how that
And
happens.
so this goes nuts. You get two Pokemon who are the same or kind of would be attracted to each other in some way.
Whoa.
Yeah. Another really fun thing is any Pokemon will breed with a Ditto.
Of course.
Ditto will just morph itself into it, and it's like, yeah, okay, I'm cool with this.
Because they don't know better.
They don't know
and
better.
And the Ditto's just like, Dittos are messed up, man.
Dittos are messed up for sure. Yeah.
I like that you were sending me what's really fun, little behind the scenes lore.
Yeah.
Every time I sit down and cut one of these, I send you messages online, like almost like I'm ordering it at a drive-thru or something. I would like a Gyarados and a Ditto and a Clefable.
Yeah.
And one thing I pointed out that I like in Pokemon Red is the Ditto's waving. He's like, hey, what's going on? He's got like one arm up.
Yeah.
And you don't seem to like Ditto. Your comment was there are 3 Pokemon that are just blobs.
Yeah. Ditto's a blob.
Which are Ditto, Muck, and Grimer?
Yeah.
Right? Those 3? Yeah.
Whoa, look at this guy already. Look at him.
It's happening.
Yeah.
This is not only like, okay, I'm done, I can put this back on the shelf, and now when I'm at a party and somebody's like, hey, Pokemon, I don't have to be like, well, I don't never played any of those games. Like, no, I do know what I'm talking about. Like Mass Effect, like these other franchises that like I didn't dive into them, but at least have like a rudimentary understanding where there's so much about Pokemon that's confusing.
Yeah.
It's hilarious going back. I think probably if we're gonna do like memories, maybe this is actually a good question to actually ask you, kind of like what was your favorite Jones? Like, I think my favorite one that just like really blindsided you was that I was like, well, I can only have like one of each Pokemon, right? And you're like, what? I'm like, yeah, if I catch one, I can't catch another one. Like, that seemed just, like, obvious to me. And you're like, no, you can catch as many as you want. What are you talking about? Just as far as me, there being the Brandon Jones that knew nothing about Pokemon and the Brandon Jones that I am now.
Yeah.
The better Brandon Jones, as far as I'm concerned.
My favorite Brandon Jones moment like that was when we would talk about the story. And, Jones, it was so funny. The way you talked about how you expected the story to end, where some bad guy is trying to control a legendary Pokemon, and you, this child, is the only one who can help. Jones, that doesn't happen in this game, obviously. It happens in every game after this.
Well, kind of. I mean,
Pokemon Ruby and
Mewtwo
Sapphire,
is
yes.
kind of. There's no context for Mewtwo.
Right.
Kind of.
Oh, but yeah, but like the way you describe the story, go back to it's probably episode 1 or 2. Go back to what Jones says. Ruby and Sapphire, that's how it happens. Diamond and Pearl, that's how it ends. Black and White, that's how it ends. X and Y, that's how it. Every single time after that, it's we need this legendary Pokemon to rule the world, to cleanse it, to destroy everyone. Oh, there's a kid here. Oh, he beat me. Blah. And then oh my God, every single time, Jones.
Also, full disclosure, I have played another Pokemon game. Did I tell you this?
No.
Played it at Comic-Con. I thought I was playing Pokemon Sun because I was incorrectly assuming that Nintendo was bringing new material to Comic-Con, but I was way wrong. But I walked in and they had a little 3DS station set up with a Pokemon game, and I was like, let me play Sun or Moon or whatever this is. And then I like sat down and I was like by a spaceship that was going up in space. And there were like people that were like, have you seen the spaceship?
Yeah.
And I was like trying to get out. I'm like, I just want to do one battle, but I couldn't get out of the neighborhood and everything was dead ends. And like, I went to go to the gym and there were 2 twins and they were like, what are you doing? You can't go in the gym yet. I'm like, all right. And so I was like, I couldn't get out and I'm like, I guess I'll stop playing. And I looked up and it was Sapphire and
they were Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby.
Omega Ruby.
They were still showing off that at Comic-Con.
I mean, that's Nintendo, baby.
Jones.
They had stations, and they were packed. I mean, I had to like wait to go up and play it.
There was a line to play Alpha Sapphire? Why?
I don't know.
Why?
The kids are like, we're playing a different 3DS with their own 3DS, probably with the game in it, like stuffed into their pocket.
You never go on
but
that
full
rocket ship,
disclosure, I did. You do?
You never do.
Oh, you never do?
Never.
Bummer.
Yeah.
But so you know the location that I'm speaking of?
Yeah, I don't remember twins that say you can't enter this gym.
I don't know if they're twins. There's 2 girls standing on opposite ends talking to each other on either sides of the door and not even going to the door, just standing in the space between them. They were like, whoa, slow down, buddy.
Gotcha.
But I'm hungry, man. Just starting to get a sense of like, okay, I can run, and like
the
environments look a lot better,
man.
and I got a cool little vantage point. Like when I walked up on top of a hill and the camera moved back and I could see the village and see the rocket.
Did you
and
get into a
stuff.
battle?
Like, I tried to get out of the town. I couldn't get it. No.
Dang.
Yeah,
okay.
It was all roads and cliffs and water, and there was like any grass patches and stuff.
For Sun and Moon anyway.
So yeah, we'll get into there. Well, what if I just get too darn hungry? What if I just
Don't do that. Don't you do that to us. Don't you
didn't
do
know
that to us.
I just casually mentioned in some group stream. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I built gold, silver, and or not gold, silver, or gold or
People
silver.
want you to play gold and silver.
I know that's the number one request, and
Yeah.
again, I think I apologize for that in every episode. That I'm not going to do that. Do you think that Pokemon leave other Pokemon alone after they faint in the wild? Because we're talking about Mewtwo, and you're like, oh, they love to fight. You know, that just happens. They just meet up, and then kaboom, and they fight, and then obviously that's the end of a fight, is one of them gets the vapors and keels over.
So it's how we interpret the Pokedex. The Pokedex suggests some nasty things happen, like
Yeah, Ekans eats the young of, which are in egg form, I've learned now, thanks to Pokemon Go, and you said we breed them, so.
Yeah.
So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
I guess, yeah.
Imagine fighting type probably
they're willing
does.
to kill each
Fighting
other.
type, you know, because the fighting gym was very respectful, so I imagine fighting type.
Yeah.
Probably, you know, just like, okay, you learned your lesson.
Yeah.
Put my boxing gloves back on.
But
and
they
get
still
out
got
of
to
here.
eat. They got to eat.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
You don't want to think about it. You don't want to think about that part. But
I do. I really do want to think about it.
I guess I guess they probably eat each other.
I mean, do you? I think you've alluded to this, Kyle. But like, is that your kind of position as a Pokemon fan? Is there some things? Because I kind of feel that way with Star Wars. Like, there's some things where I'm like, no, that's Ironclad, man. That's a really great story. And other things, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that. That doesn't make any sense. Like,
Yeah.
The Gungans, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I think.
Are you a Pokemon apologist, Kyle?
Obviously, I am. I think people would watch this show would say that I'm a Pokemon apologist. In this case, Jones, yeah. I don't think about them doing anything after the fainting. I think about them eating berries off trees. I like to think of them as herbivores. But, I mean, obviously they're eating each other. I just don't like to think about it.
Just nobody was ever really afraid of other Pokemon. They were always afraid of other people. They were afraid of Team Rocket. They were afraid of gym leaders.
You can't go in the tall grass.
They were
and be
afraid
doing
of
the
like
game.
competition and stuff.
You're not allowed to go in the tall grass.
Or just in that town, they're afraid of just like
No, nobody. Nobody can go into tall grass if you don't have a Pokemon, because you will be attacked.
beware the Rattatas, beware the Pidgeys.
They will attack you, Jones.
Oh no, I know they will. It's hilarious to just that little tiny Pidgey to have this town in fear.
Jones, how would you feel if a Pidgey came and like flapped a gust of wind at you and a Rattata came and bit you?
I don't know. I would like to know.
All right.
I really don't know. Run is super effective. Run didn't work like once in my entire playthrough. Granted, I didn't run a lot.
You were over leveled a lot though too.
I guess. Okay.
That's a
Was
huge
that
factor.
the issue there? Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
if
yeah.
that was a factor. Okay. So you could just fill out your Pokedex by trading stuff back and forth.
Yes.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we clarified that, but I don't know if I asked that question specifically.
It's definitely to encourage trading. It's to encourage communication, and it's like, hey, yeah, I'll give you my Vaporeon. It's
Cool. And finally, I want to just continue a conversation that we had before, because we were talking about Bill's PC when that came up, and we were like, how do they get in there? What's life like in there? And we actually never talked about Pokeballs. Ever really on their own, kind of like the science of like how those work, or obviously connecting the two, which is, you know, I'm assuming the technology that zaps them in there is the same technology that puts them inside the PC. You know, that whatever state they exist in inside of a Pokeball is probably the same state they exist in inside of his PC.
Yeah, even your items.
Because they're like electrified, right?
Put your
it's
items
like
into a PC as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some little kind of yellow thing, because I've been playing Pokemon Go and I've seen the little snippets of the cartoon here and there.
Yeah.
That it is kind of like a lightning
It's red
attack.
in the show,
There
yeah.
is an electric charge.
Yes.
That grabs them.
Yep.
And turns them into electric energy, which is then stored inside of this Pokeball. So there's I mean, do we know, are Pokeballs like hollow on the inside? If you're like crack a Pokeball open that doesn't have a Pokemon in it?
And the show they'll show like padding on the inside, which is weird.
Oh,
And
okay.
like a little electric panels on the like around the rim. Like there's just these like contained energy. Like imagine mirrors, just lasers bouncing mirrors off each other or something like that.
So again, talking about eating berries versus, feasting on the carcass of dead Pokemon, just kind of like how real do we want to get with this world? And it's not a question of like this world needs to be real for me to enjoy it, but like I would like to know where that wall is. I would like to know where I'm going to put up that barrier as far as like beyond this is too crazy for me to actually think about. My understanding of the Pokemon world is pretty much going to end there. I think that it is kind of instantaneous to any of these Pokemon the moment they are removed from one of these things. So once I catch something, the next time I throw it out in battle, like no time passed for them. That's my understanding of it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Which is good and bad, kind of depressing because there is no life inside that PC. Like they have no memories of that PC. They don't even know that happened.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of nice because that poor Spiro that was just sitting in that machine the entire game. I mean, like, I caught it and it went in there, and I never ever took that out. So makes me feel good that he was in a field and had a fun little battle, and what's that thing? And like that's it. That's all he remembers.
No,
It remembers.
It is contrary to what the game tries to enforce so much, is that these Pokemon are your partners, and you should care about them. And instead, the game enforces the idea of catching them all, stuffing them in a machine where they don't live.
Right.
That's crazy to me.
It is interesting. I mean, I guess, like, from an ecological standpoint, it's kind of terrifying. But at the same time, like, there's enough Pokemon to go around. They're jumping out of the bushes all over the place. Like, there's never not going to be Pokemon in those bushes.
You're talking
so it's not like
you're talking like your rival right now, though.
Okay.
You're talking about Pokemon like they're numbers. You should never do that.
Yeah, no, it's not that. Yeah, it's not that severe. I just think it actually kind of makes me. It makes it okay because it would be, again, it's like the Toy Story complex where, like, I'm putting these living sentient things inside of a chest and putting them in the attic where they can be imprisoned for all time, trapped inside this house should it accidentally burn down or something. There's all these horrible things. And so I like the idea of it kind of being like, not like Tron, where it's just like, no, there's actually millions of organisms living inside of this thing that just looks like a normal computer. But no, you don't have to worry about it. They don't, time does not exist for them.
Sure.
It was instantaneous.
So obviously my perspective has been warped by the show, by the anime.
Right.
So what happens in the anime, they are completely conscious when they're the Pokeballs. In fact, I just watched an episode last night. I've been setting it on as I fall asleep, where Psyduck was in a Pokeball, and the show ended just with, like, showing him and the Pokeball going, Psy-ya-ya, and then, like, a little just like, whoop, whoop, and that was the end of the episode, was Psyduck and the Pokeball saying Psy-ya-ya. So you're led to believe that they're alive in the Pokeballs, that they can pop out sometimes if they're obstinate. They can pop out and just say, hey, what's going on out here? I hear you. I know something is happening out here. What I like about what the show does is every Pokemon extra that Ash has beyond his 6 goes to Professor Oak's lab, and they just wander around the outside.
Ah, okay.
And I really like that idea. I want to believe that everything we send to Bill just puts out in the backyard. And it's like, oh, no, I got him over here. You need Muck? Let me grab him, okay? And I'll send him over to you. That's not the case. I mean, they're in PC boxes.
Well, also the plot of the game, we're really getting into this. The plot of this game, to me, was understanding what is the correct way to treat Pokemon.
Yes, yeah.
And I didn't treat them much differently than you did. Not really.
The rival, you mean?
Yeah.
I know.
Than Kyle did.
Yeah.
I told them to kick each other's ass. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was really the extent of my strategy, so to speak.
Yeah.
And not only in combat, obviously, and overcoming the obstacles that were put in front of me, but just like creating a relationship with these things. I don't have a relationship with these things outside of battle.
Yeah.
There's no other opportunities. And so that's maybe something that, again, you can like squash my dreams right now, but like hoping that they do later on. Something I would love to add to Pokemon Go that's like, I only get to see, people get to take funny pictures like, oh, look, there's a Pidgey on a table. It'd be great if like I have a Pidgey to then move it to an AR thing where like I can take my Pidgey out and he doesn't look as angry. He's like, he's a little more cheerful because this is my Pidgey, like that I can actually like look at these things and remove them from Pokeballs and at some time other than, oh, we're in a giant stadium, you lost, get back in there. Like that doesn't seem like a relationship.
Jones, what's so cool is they have that.
Okay.
And
in later
hate
games?
That. Yeah,
okay.
I hate it. They just added an X and Y. You can take out your Pokemon and like, if you like pet it, if you like touch it, like in spots that it likes. Yeah. It becomes more friendly toward you. And so, like, you can do that, Jones. You can do that thing you just talked about. And I was like, this is stupid. Why would it's called Pokemon to me?
Yeah, I think maybe what you can do to complement that is not necessarily like, the stroking for affection, but like, let me take it to the movies. Let me go, if I'm at the beach, let me just take Cleo out just cuz.
Yeah.
Not because I want to surf, not because I want to fight, but just hey, like this is your element, like, and maybe then if these relationship between Pokemon is so important, maybe other water Pokemon will be inspired by the fact is, oh no, this giant Gyarados, this level 50 Gyarados comes out, oh my god, all of them go running, and they actually realize, wait, the Gyarados isn't fighting me, and then like, oh, maybe like the whole fish will come around and maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe that just like throws this world completely out of balance.
Can I tell you one thing I loved about Black and White 2? Never returns, never should. It's a side quest in which your Pokemon becomes a movie star. And you make movies with your Pokemon. And ahead of it, the director's like, I need a kind of Pokemon who's got this kind of pizzazz. Maybe she's cute. And so you're like, okay, which one of my Pokemon is cute? And then he asks for moves. And so it's like, give me something splashy. And then you do like a splashy move. And then you go into a movie theater and you watch the movie you just made with your Pokemon. I loved that side quest.
Oh, damn it. Don't make me play the Pokemon games, Kyle.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of the thing where it's like, we're using something out of battle. There's beauty contests in other games. There's something that's like a beauty contest where they dance and stuff.
Oh, no. I think I'm really going to get into Sun. I think this is going to be. So let's talk about the future, Kyle.
Okay.
We have an idea that we're kind of bouncing around that I'm curious to maybe get some comments from.
Please.
But Origins is something that has come up. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Pokemon Origins.
Yes.
4-part.
Yep.
Story of Red.
Yes.
The movie of Pokemon Red, basically.
Yeah.
Which I've gotten 500 people who are just like, oh, watch this thing, please.
Mm-hmm.
So we're done. I'm getting my last little bit of Pokemon lore, which is battling, which I've never done before with another human being.
Yeah.
So that might be the perfect time. Kyle's idea was to kind of do a Mystery Science Theater 3000, where like what you would watch on a live stream is Kyle and myself sitting down on this couch. Would you come over to watch this?
Absolutely, yeah.
And we would watch that 4-part series, because it's like an hour and a half or something.
Yeah.
And we would go through it, and then if you were so inclined, you could watch that live with us, and then we wouldn't archive that because you would be hearing the show in the background, and it would mess everything up.
We'd get in trouble.
It was nothing legal about it at all.
Yeah.
But maybe something that if you were all down to be there live when it happened,
Live
you could watch
event.
that with us.
Yeah.
And get those live reactions and all of the humor we're in. Is there anything weird about that? Anything we're overlooking? I guess we'll just throw that out to
Twitch isn't
to
really
everybody
cool.
out there.
We couldn't make it full screen. I think we'd honestly have to do it kind of like how we used to do press conferences, where we'd say put it up in a new tab.
Yeah.
And we'll just watch it together. Basically,
You're watching us on a couch.
Yeah.
Looking past the camera and laughing.
Yeah.
And you would just have to like sync that up. Where do you watch that? Where would we go and get
That'd be
that?
Twitch. Where do we watch it?
Yeah.
I think it's on Netflix, man.
Oh wow.
That's where I watched it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I don't think Jones is gonna wait for long.
No, I would love that. I would love to sit down with you. And obviously, we want to do a co-op review. I know you hate the word review, but
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I would take your notes, maybe write the script, and I would edit it, and I would technically review Sun, but you would be playing Moon alongside, and I'm assuming that's not something that like we would. Yeah, that would be right on embargo. Like that would obviously take a little while, and maybe we wouldn't do a part by part. Brandon plays Pokemon. Brandon and Kyle play Pokemon together show.
But I think we can do a blowout. We would do the
We can
review,
definitely do at least more than one video
and then do
on
a
it.
blowout.
Maybe just kind of like an initial thing where it's like, okay, we just got into it. What's your favorite thing? What's my favorite thing? Here are our starter Pokemons. Here where we're at right now.
Yeah.
The next time we get to a significant point in the story, we'll make another video and then maybe do like 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay media blackout. They've shown so many. You see on NeoGAF just like 8 new Pokemon trailers. No, don't do that. See them in the game like Jones did. It's so much more fun that way.
Every now and then somebody tweets like a collage of all of them. Like
Yeah.
I've seen the little like owl with the bow tie, like the little leaf guy. But again, so much of that is just like flying over my head.
Yeah.
One final question that I didn't write down, but it does pop up right now is if I was to go into the next game, and if that next game was my first game, Charmander's not in that, correct?
Right.
So there would be no Charmander. So it is actually like Gen 1 is gone. And it's like you can bring Gen 1 into the experience, but now you're in Gen 2. And so if you have the Gen 1 to bring in, they're still
You
there.
talking Gold and Silver?
Is that the next game? Gold Silver was the next Pokemon game released.
Yes.
If I hadn't played Pokemon Red and just went into Gold Silver, would I encounter in either game a Charmander?
No, but you would encounter a Zubat.
Oh, okay. So there is some carryover.
There's a lot of overlap in Gold and Silver.
Are we still at that point? Will Sun and Moon have overlap? Will I bump into a Pidgey in the wild in Sun and Moon?
The only game that didn't do overlap, and this is one of the reasons it's my favorites, is Black and White. They said, you know what? We've been getting a little lazy. 150 new Pokemon. Let's do it. And I love it for that reason.
Okay.
It's that thing where it's like, oh, new. To me, when I start a game, I go into a cave, there's a Zubat, I'm a little checked out. I'm like, oh, guys, come on. And X and Y introduced very few Pokemon, actually. It's a lot of overlap.
I'm even checked out when I see a Zubat in Pokemon Go. I'm like, well, I need the dust. Because it's airborne and it likes to, like, That's it.
Okay.
I think that's all the questions I have. What did I miss? Anything else that needs to be clarified?
Did you evolve your gloom?
I didn't evolve my gloom. Was that a trait thing?
That's another stone. That's a stone.
Oh, it's a stone? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you missed anything, Jones. Oh, Mew. We got to talk about Mew.
Okay.
So you read about Mew being the basically mother of Mewtwo and those weird notes that were in the burned down house.
Supposedly.
Yes.
Mew. Yeah, there was a thing called Mew. Of Mew came Mewtwo.
Yeah,
however the heck that happened.
They used the genetics. They used the genes of Mew to create Mewtwo. Mew is the 151st Pokemon.
Okay.
The only way to get Mew officially at the time of the game's release was to go to a mall event that Nintendo was hosting. They would take your cartridge and they would put it in a machine and put Mew into your game, and then they would hand it back to you. Most kids got it through a Game Shark. There is a way to get Mew right now that is semi-legitimate in this game that we have right now. Your save file is too far to get it. It is, you have to basically plan on it. There's some battles you can't have. And you gotta be like, okay, I gotta save that for later. And basically you trigger this weird way, you F with the RNG of the game, so that once you walk into some grass, after fighting this person, flying away immediately, and then fighting this other person, you run into Mew. And Mew's in the code, and you can catch a Mew, and then you have it. But Mew until...
And that was a Pop Fiction episode, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're actually super familiar with that.
I think.
Yeah.
I need that additional level of context. Be like, that was the game we were talking about.
Yeah, and there's a thing where just there is a truck. There is a truck beneath. If you surf to the right of the SSN, you take your little ticket. I have no idea how you surf at that point because you're not supposed to know.
Yeah. Well, you just don't finish the ship.
Yeah, I guess you don't. But to get
oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
cuts, you have to rub his back to get cuts.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's done.
Weird.
But if you do surf at that point and you go to the right, there's a truck. And you played through that game, there's no truck at any other point. For some reason, there's a truck on a little island. And so the rumor was at the time, like, oh, you just got to shove the truck to get Mew. Mew's under that truck. Because just that little bit of truth to that mystery lends you to think, oh, there's got to be something more.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I think I'm excited about most when it comes to Sun and Moon, is that I'm not going to be jumping into those games being like, Kyle, am I doing this right?
Yeah.
You can be like, I don't care. I'm playing this game my own way. I'm grabbing what Pokemon I care to. And if people have their opinions, they're like, oh, well, I've beaten Sun and it's clearly this. Be like, well, I might disagree with you. I don't know.
Yeah.
It hasn't been 20 years since this game came out. We're all just kind of discovering this together. So very much looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And I'm very much looking forward to battling you, Kyle.
Jones, I need a final statement on this game before we go into battle.
I'll give you a final statement.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Mr. Kyle Bossman.
Oh. Are we going for a handshake there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It can become a handshake if you'd like.
It was obstructed by the microphone. I wasn't sure what kind of hand you had there.
I want to point out not only, Kyle's willingness to stick around late at night and to record this almost weekly, to play the game alongside me, which I actually didn't know you were doing. I think when we started the first episode, you're like, well, I'm at this point. I was like, oh, you're playing it too?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
cool. And so that also added a lot to the experience. And as somebody who has tried to wedge this into, a very busy early YouTube channel production schedule, I appreciate that you had the time to do that as well, along with Wozniak and Dumb Game Monday and planning the podcast and doing all of the other things that you do.
Yeah.
But specifically, I want to congratulate you for how mysterious you've been. I mean, I think that is the toughest thing, because a lot of people have said, like, oh, what are you going to do next? And I'm like, there's so many reasons why I think the next version of this would suck.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most prominent is I doubt that any of the other allies would be as good at sitting in that chair as you've been. Because it's not only the knowledge that you've had, it's not only the willingness to play the game alongside and bring all of your expertise into it, obviously the humor, obviously, the attitude, and we like to joke and stuff like that, but the reservedness. Huber would be absolutely abysmal in that seat because he couldn't hold back.
Yeah, I hear
you. Oh, that's my favorite moment. You know what's in the next room? Like, you never did that. You were never like, what's over there? I'll spoil this one little bit. You never, ever, ever did that.
Yeah.
Even like on a mistake. Even like, I shouldn't have said that. Like, you never said I shouldn't have said that. And you were wrong. I mean, you like people, said some crazy things. Oh, one was this point on social media is that Giovanni does come back, not in the original timeline, but one of the remakes, right?
Yeah.
And like jumps off a cliff.
Yeah, I don't
I regret everything.
Yeah, it's not to me. Non-canon. Don't worry about it.
But well done, Kyle. I just want to say that this was not only an amazing experience because everybody at home, who I thanked as best I could last week, but well done.
All right, let me
take a bow. Kyle.
Let me return final. Okay.
Okay.
This was an idea we had back at Game Trailers. We wanted to do this. It was on our schedule.
Is that my 3DS over there? I'm gonna grab that while you're talking.
Okay, we had this on our whiteboard. We knew the anniversary was coming in February, and we're like, okay, in the next year, we're gonna be able to shoot the show. It'll be 5 to 10 minutes each. Jones will get 1 badge or 2 each episode, and we'll talk about it for 5 to 10 minutes. That'll be a show. And we were
It'll be
so
a piece of
excited
cake
about
because
that.
we all get up every morning and drive to this office and all hang out together all day. So like,
Yeah.
Don will cut it.
Jones, the day we learned that Game Trailers was no more, one of my first thoughts was we were never going to shoot that show.
I would be lying if I said it was not one of my first thoughts too.
Yeah, which is crazy. And so to be able to do this
And not only that, but when we had the meeting about Easy Allies, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a thing.
Yeah, you were thinking like, we can do that again. Yeah, and just
Here comes Pokemon. Because I've always been waiting for that. And you know what's funny? I thought mobile was going to be it. Because there were always rumors like, they're going to release some kind of Pokemon experience for mobile. And I always told my friend, I have a dear friend named Garen that is not like in love with Pokemon, but has played my friend Mike Buddy, who was instrumental in the creation of Game Trailers.
Yeah.
He was a camera guy who shot stuff for us, for bonus round and GTTV and all sorts of stuff. He played a ton of Pokemon. They used to play together and trade, and I was just out of that. And they were always like, every time a new game would come out, they're like, Jones, it's a new one. And I'm like, I have no context. I don't know where I would jump in. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Mobile. The second that happens, we can trade online and we can do all that stuff on mobile. I'm in. I just needed that perfect opportunity, and there it was.
Yeah,
the original
3DS.
game.
I thought this would never happen. I thought they would never put it on 3DS. It's crazy they did.
Why didn't you think? Just out of curiosity.
Basically because of the way Nintendo with Pokemon, not Nintendo, the Pokemon company, we learned this now, they like you to be invested in their new Pokemon. They want you invested. They want, right now, Jones, I pay $5 a year to keep my Pokemon in the cloud. They want that. And so
to the Pokemon company directly. Is there like a website that you go to like?
It's an app on the 3DS. It's called the Pokemon Bank.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
do I have to do that now?
Probably. You're probably gonna have to do it to transfer your Pokemon into the new game.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
$5 a year. It's whatever.
No. I just hope I remember to do that or do it right. Or
oh yeah, we'll do it right. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Just the idea, there's just so much antiquated about it. There are a lot of problems with Red and Blue, and I thought they would always remake it. And so, for them to put out this game as it is, as grody as it is, as it was, is just crazy to me. It's respectful, and I really, really appreciate that. It's still my favorite. It's still my favorite Pokemon game.
Thank you, Pokemon Company.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyle Bosman. Thank you, viewers.
Friendship over. Oh my God, Jones.
Don't let the cheerful music deceive you.
Time for a battle.
So not to throw Mike Huber, Ian Hank, and Ben Moore under the bus, but like through various means, I tried to get 2 additional cameras here. I could not do that, so I'm going to tape this fight on my phone so we can get a different angle here. And we're gonna do this.
Do you want to host or should I host?
You host, Kyle.
Okay.
Because you've been hosting this entire show.
That's a funny thing. Someone in the comments talked about this. I was the host when the show began, but as you became more knowledgeable about Pokemon, you became the host of the show in a weird way. I really like that. Invite a partner to play with you. It's so crazy they even did this, Jones, because this was another reason. I'm like, how would they even do trades? There's no link cables anymore. And they developed this weird communicational system.
Join a partner who's issued an invitation.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
They added so much to this. Start. Okay, we're going to the Coliseum.
Oh, you picked for me. Oh, it automatically happened.
Yeah. Oh, John, I'm so nervous. Oh, boy.
Pretty cheerful considering we're about to battle to the death.
The stakes right now.
What, do I click a button to jump in? What's?
Oh, you face the arcade cabinet.
Ah, that's me on
Press
that
A.
side. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a moment.
Oh, Jones, here we go, man.
You gotta explain Otho later.
I just like to pick old names.
I just thought you liked Beetlejuice a lot.
Is that
Oh
Beetlejuice?
man, Oh, I like that I get the nickname. Okay.
You started with Toxie Jones?
You never know.
Oh!
Okay.
Alright.
I'm going to...
Alright.
I'll try it.
Okay.
Actually, no.
Oh, Jones, I'm proud of you.
Oh no, that's the worst. You know who does that is Chansey.
Chansey minimizes too,
It
huh?
just sucks. Alright, fine. It's gonna miss, but whatever. Yeah, it hit.
Okay, Slogan, come on, hang in there, bud. Hang in there, bud. Oh, holy cow. Okay, alright, Jones. That really affects my plans here. Okay. This Pikachu could run through my whole team right now.
Don't tell me that.
Okay, Raichu, I mean, of course. Good switch, Jones. Good switch.
I like the lowercase.
Oh yeah, because I think I was thinking ahead when I transfer them in. I'm gonna want them to have those lowercase names.
Let's do it. Fingers crossed. Actually, forgot to swap out Underminer for Jean-Claude, but it's fine.
Which one's Underminer?
My Doug trio. Oof.
Oh my god, Jones. Oh, a critical hit. Oh, I could have had that. Okay, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Oh, I really could have had that. We're good.
Just do it simple.
Oh, hang in there, bud. You can take this. Oh my god. Oh no, Jones, they're too strong. They're simply too strong.
Actually, no. Items can't be used here.
Oh yeah, you can't use items.
Oh, wow.
It's a fair battlefield, an even battlefield. What item were you going to use?
I was gonna heal, Johnny. Ooh, badly poisoned. Oh my.
Okay, can Flexus take a hit from Rock? Probably not. Worth a shot, buddy. Stomach it. Take the... Oh god. Okay, we're alright, we're alright. I wish my Pikachu was still alive.
No! It's not gonna do anything, but...
Oh, Jones. Swift never misses.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah, even if you're flying. Oh my god, that was a great call, Jones. What a call. Oh, he's toast. Oh, goodbye, buddy. Yeah, okay. Alright, time to start the fight. Oh my god, no. Throw me a bone, Pokemon. Throw me a bone, come on! Oh. Oh no! No way, 3 times in a row! Oh. Oh my god. No, Jones, not like this. You were paralyzed that whole time too. Oh, unreal. I'm so cranky.
Oof.
Okay, hang in there, bud. Take the hit. Take the hit. Hang in there. Hang in there, bud. Hang in there, bud. Oh. Oh, no. Oh. Jones, well done.
Ah.
Unreal.
Still friends, though. Look at that. We're still feeling it.
Oh my goodness, what a battle. John's...
I feel bad Jean-Claude didn't get in there. I left Underminer in there. So Jean-Claude unfortunately didn't come out. Would have been fun. It would have been fun for Jean-Claude to smack that Hypno in the face. I was also looking forward to, one thing that was interesting also was really studying those types and noticing types that I love, that like Dragon is all the way on the end of that chart. The Dragon's like the only Dragon does something to dragons and that's it. They don't have to do anything else. Nothing else does anything to them.
Yeah.
Ghosts only do stuff to other ghosts. Everything else kind of gets tripped up by them. And I like that fighting can't fight flying.
Right.
That like they, makes sense.
So when we opened up, you saw Primeape versus Toxie, and you took out Toxie. Why?
It was just lower level. It's just like, I basically have Toxie out there first in case I need to, put something to sleep or stun something right away. Mm-hmm. But Toxie's like, of the stuff that I was fighting near the end of the game, level 40, 40, 50, 55, 60.
Yeah.
Something, they could just look at Toxie the wrong way and knock him out.
Yeah, man, that was crazy to me. You had me off my game from that first switch out. I was not expecting that at all. I gotta say, it really hurts that Charizard was paralyzed, that Hypno missed Hypnosis 3 times in a row, and Charizard hit 3 times in a row. I
was expecting some crazy, you were gonna transform me into. I thought a lot of Psychics was coming. I thought there was a lot of weird, because It was coming, man.
I
generally don't use like blue cards in Magic the Gathering, like any kind of like, hoo-hoo, I stopped you from doing that and then snuck around the back and did this thing. Like, I don't like to play that way. I'm mostly like Huber. I like Earth. I like Fire. I like stuff that just kind of steps in and punches and blasts, and
that stuff was coming, Jones.
Lots of damage.
It didn't play out. You smacked it down before it could rise.
But there was a little, hopefully, it wasn't just levels. Hopefully, there was a little bit of knowledge of like, okay, a Seal's coming out. I got to change some stuff. A bird type. Let me get my Raichu in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I did notice a couple things. Now I have 3-4 months to really memorize the types.
Yeah, I'll
To
tell you
where
one thing.
what we can do now, which is cap ourselves at a specific level,
Yeah.
and then actually have a battle.
Yeah, well, eventually they'll do a thing where it's like everybody leveled up to 50. So, like, they are equal. I'll tell you one thing is, this is a strategy I get caught up in all the time. So, I don't want you to ever have that free hit of me switching. Basically, it takes a whole turn to switch.
Yeah.
And so, I let them die sometimes, and I guess, really, I had to. Your Sparky was just too strong. Like, I let my bird die out there. Porphyro, I think, had no chance against anything, really. And so, yeah, there's a move there where I just let him die. Jones, I'm out of it. I don't know, man.
Kyle, I'm surprised. I got to be honest.
Huh.
I'm not surprised that I won.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to win this.
That was coming.
And I was only nervous because I was like, I really feel like I'm going to win this just because I'm ridiculously overpowered.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that because somebody threw out on Twitter, they were like, dude, wait for it, man. He's going to do the missing no rare candy trick.
yeah, I don't like
They're
that,
all
man.
going to be level
Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
Well, why not? Why did you take this seriously? And so much of Easy Allies and game trailers, you clearly either did not take seriously or took way too seriously because you really wanted to orchestrate some kind of grand scheme of dastardly ingenious underhandedness.
I don't know what that's about. To be honest,
Were you tempted? Were you ever like, I could wipe that smile off his face. Somebody had a great. Did you see the GIF of Charizard and Bulbas and was it Squirtle? Was it Squirtle or Bulbasaur?
Well, it was an evolution of Blastoise.
Blastoise, right?
Yeah.
Where Blastoise is just like, nope.
Yeah.
Charizard comes
You're gonna see that when we watch
smashing down.
Pokemon Origins.
Okay, that's from that.
Sorry to go back to the game. Did you ever catch Mewtwo?
No,
Okay.
but I will. I'll go back and if I get bored later,
I'll
I
use
might
Master
go back
Ball,
to
man.
Safari Zone. I know.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't like to use legendary Pokemon. To me, they're out of. I like the idea of catching normal Pokemon that I like and using them as my team. I like the idea of being that kid, and so yeah, I like to then make that. I don't like think of the meta too much.
You want to talk about meta?
Yeah.
I just went through a whole crazy thought process in my head. Lore-wise, if Pokemon Red was the only Pokemon game ever, if there wasn't even Blue, if this was just this standalone game, and I was never going to play another Pokemon game ever, I don't know I would necessarily want to catch Mewtwo. I don't know necessarily if I would tell Oak about Mewtwo. They're kind of like, oh, I'm gonna keep that actually, because if we were to wrap this up lore-wise, I feel kind of a sense of maturity that this world does not have. I think there's some things that this world is not ready for. This incredibly selfish world with scientists that so easily, turn against their fellow colleagues, and bikers that are just driving down the street and, chucking coughings at people. And just there's a lot of a lot of playfulness that could potentially be dangerous because these are dangerous monsters that we're dealing with. I don't want. What if something happens to me and my Mewtwo ball goes rolling out in the road and some 5-year-old, what's this? And throws it out. It's like, you're fine. You're doing okay. You're down there, and if something happens, if I'm, going to Oak's lab one day, I'm assuming I go back to Palatown and live out my days there. I live in the house where, if my mom retires or something, maybe I get that house. But I just go on to explore more things with Oak. That maybe one day I'd go into his office and he's like, did you hear? Saffron got attacked by this strange Pokemon. Oh, I actually know what that is. I got this. And then I hop on Rock and fly over, and then I come here, Mewtwo. Master, I've been waiting. I'm into my 70s. I've been waiting for you, Mewtwo. But totally turned around because, oh wait, no, I want to take Mewtwo into Sun.
Yeah.
I want to have him.
Mm-hmm. You do.
Oh dear, my Pokemon Red adventure is not over because there are a couple things I probably want to have, in my arsenal and then bring into this new game. Mm-hmm. Do you find that you stay with your old faves a lot, even when you get into a new game? You're like, oh, that guy's new and cool, but...
Most games, and I love this, they force you to beat it first before you can transfer in old Pokemon from your old games.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Maybe I don't need to get Mewtwo then.
Why?
What are you going to do after you beat the game? Then challenge other people through that game, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, then use that game's multiplayer features to battle.
A lot of games going forward have a lot of story stuff, actually, after the credits.
Okay.
Like this going into Mewtwo's cave.
Oh, and I didn't write this correction in text, but I said you could explore the world of Final Fantasy VI after you beat it. Lies. You get to see it in the ending.
Oh, okay.
You fly over those areas, but I actually was very disappointed when I played 6. I was like, oh, I wanted to go and actually visit those worlds. So I remember I was just like late at night and I'm cutting that video and I'm like, what? Whoa, where did I imagine 6 fans were like,
I didn't see that correction.
how dare you call yourself a 6 fan?
Nobody corrected you on that.
Well, there I did.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, okay, and obviously I want to see Johnny in 3D. You know, and I get that everybody gets the same Charizard, but you know, there is that connection. Like, hey, Johnny.
It's that, Jones. It's yeah, you've beaten the game, but to bring your old Pokemon into the new world is meaningful. It actually does. It is cool to see those you cared about, and so the older they get through generations, the more you care about them.
So it is tempting to play another Pokemon game immediately. I could do it right now. I could buy it on the Virtual Console on my 3DS. I could download it, and right?
No.
Are they up there?
Mean, or Omega Red, yes, you could, or Omega Ruby, and yeah, those you could download, yeah.
Or the Silver and Gold.
No,
I couldn't.
not
No.
Silver and Gold.
No,
No.
I'd have to. How could I get this if I wanted to? If someone's playing Red at home and they're like, I want to go right to the next one.
Yeah. Well.
Just eBay.
You can go and get them on eBay. You can go and get them at a used game store. The problem is their batteries are dying.
Right.
Because those games have an internal clock. They die a little faster.
Oof.
I think Crystal dies faster. Than
Was
anything.
Red successful? Do you see them maybe rethinking that and maybe
Yes.
re-releasing the other ones later?
Absolutely. I think
Oh, dear.
Red will eventually come, or sorry, Gold and Silver will eventually come to the eShop as well.
Oh dear, but they were never 3. They always just do the 2. The yellow was an exception.
No.
Just at launch.
No. So Gold and Silver launch, and then I think 2 years later, Crystal appears.
Okay.
Crystal is Game Boy Color only and it has moving sprites.
Oh. But it was the same story and.
Yep, and they
As Gold,
keep
Silver,
doing that. So like Ruby and Sapphire, and then Emerald.
Oh geez.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like Sun and Moon and then Star or something like.
Yeah, except with when it was X and Y, we're like, where's Z? And
Yeah.
then Z never came.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Did
So
you
who
want
knows?
Z? I mean, do you like that? Is that like?
I usually skip those. I
Okay,
usually say no. A lot of people are like, Platinum's one of the best games ever. It blows.
I
Platinum
think,
blows.
and I think for all of you that are, it's kind of like the end of like a season of Game of Thrones or House of Cards or Orphan Black or something. Where you're like, oh, I want more of this show. Like we want more of it too. I really enjoyed this. I am looking forward to reviewing a game or two and not pouring a lot of my extra time into playing a 20-year-old game. But at the same time, I think one of them, maybe the next things, if we were to move on to the next time you and I sit down on camera for Easy Allies and talk about Pokemon, is not what are my experiences with Pokemon Red, but what kind of Pokemon player am I now that I've kind of settled into playing other games and reading cards, which are now rightfully mine.
Oh yeah.
and,
Here we go, Jones. There they are, man.
Yeah. Really, Miguel, just flabbergasted. Again, this is almost too much. But
Jones, I'm hurt. I should have trained more, man. I should have got somebody up to 60. Oh boy, I'm so hurt.
If I would have had the time, if I could have
Yeah.
stepped into a singularity inside of a black hole and had a limited time, I would have absolutely cherished the look on your face. I wanted to save Johnny till the very end.
Oh, yeah.
I really wanted to throw out really everybody.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, you're not doing it. And the fans at home like, where's Johnny? And then
Yeah.
just like, he comes out at the end, 99.
But he took out the muck, right? You took out Johnny out to kill that muck.
I mostly take out Johnny when I'm not necessarily sure about the types, knowing that he
Yeah.
can take a hit.
Sure.
Knowing that,
Sure,
like,
sure.
even if you do something at me, unless it's water type,
Yeah.
then no, I don't want to mess with that.
Yeah.
But slowly but surely, I am learning these things. Oh boy, we could just do this forever.
When Toxie showed up level 29, I think, oh, I have a chance. Level 29.
Maybe that was it too. I trolled you.
Yeah.
With Toxie troll.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I bring in my muck. Everything's gonna be fine. And then no. All no. Great
We gotta
battles.
end it, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you
Great
for the
show.
match.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. Like any good thing, it must come to an end. But like a fine wine, hopefully this will get bigger and better over time, and we will return to the Pokemon conversation. Just kick back and play some Pokemon games. Go watch a Pokemon show. Again, we said we were going to stream the show Origins sooner or later. Possibly we'll get to that next week. Hopefully this episode finds you very soon this week. Hopefully before the weekend, but you never know. And we will return to this conversation again. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you everybody for watching. See you later.